What's up, y'all? We are back. This is episode 35 of the Nashville Stampede Out of the Park Baseball 24 series as we begin a very pivotal offseason here in 2035. So, I haven't looked at anything yet and what happens here, but Kira has a player option, which I assume he'll decline, and he does, so he will hit free agency. Jace Young needs a decision on his player option, or team option, sorry. 14.6 million. We'll see. Merton Blanco will also test free agency, so he may need a new contract. Not unreasonable. So maybe we'll look at that. So, where does our owner stand? He's satisfied with their performance. They wanted to sign Kira back. I would like to. I don't think we're going to be able to. Fine top 20 prospect, top 6 minor league system, prove international fines. They want us to bring a championship home in 2 seasons. So, team payroll around 170 million. All right, so I've been thinking about this for a little bit, and what the heck are we going to do with this team here? So, salary-wise, we have to make the Jace Young decision. I think we'll probably decline it. I would like to bring him back, but I don't know at a $14.6 million price if we're going to be able to. But we have Marquez and Morton under contract. Molinax is on a nice, really team-friendly contract. Hollowell is still on the books. And then after that, we don't really have a ton of guys making a lot of money. So once we decline the Jace Young option, which I'll probably do right now, actually, again, I would like to bring him back. And honestly, $14.6 million for what he produced last year is a pretty good deal. It really just depends. Okay, so what does our team look like going into next year? Let's kind of take a step back and look at this. So our catching situation is a little rough, but I like Hazelrig to take that spot. He had a nice half season up with us. He's just not a good defender. At first base, we'll have Mike Lesko. He had a nice year. He'll be coming back. Then third base is where things get a little sketchy. Tanaka was bad. Harris was fine, but not like locked into that spot. So third base might be a hole. Jeremy Hall, I feel good enough about as shortstop. Deshaun Eiffel was also okay filling in. Left field will have Balderas, but he didn't have a great year either. And then it's really the Kira question, like, should we bring him back? He's kind of become really injury prone the last 4 seasons, where he's missed at least like 30 games a year, and then he missed like all of 2033. He's still been a good player when he's out there, don't get me wrong, and I would love to bring him back, but man, I don't know if we can count on him to stay healthy for 8 more years. So, and that would really, screw up our salaries moving forward. So, I think the tentative plan is to move Mike Molinax to center field and then play with whatever we got in right field, which would be something Pearson, Northard, who wasn't horrible last year. Might be a platoon between those two. And then Sprov can back up, and then, I don't know. John Becerra still hanging around. I don't know how I feel about him. He's not a good defender to play second, so he's really just a first baseman. Tanaka, hypothetically, is a good player, but he did nothing last year. And yeah, that's kind of where we are. Pitching, I think we're good moving forward, though. We have a lot of bodies that can fill these spots. We have Milt Allman, of course, who will be back in the rotation. We have Robbie Watkins. We'll probably just run back the same 5, honestly. I don't love Watkins. He's not the best starter, and Milt Allman might have played his way out of a role. But at least the top 3 are good. So that's kind of where we stand here going into the offseason. I don't know about the Jace Young thing. It's like, it's obviously a good contract, but he's 35. Like, could he fall off a cliff at any moment? We kind of need bodies in our lineup, though, so I think we might go through and accept that. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. Let's execute it. We'll bring back Jace for another year. So, slot him in at second or third. And then, that expands our lineup quite a bit. So we have a lot of upgrades to do, but at least we have a good base. So, going to hop into arbitration, go over some stuff, and come back with what's going on with the team. All right, first move of the offseason is kind of a non-tender candidate, Chris Grimm. He just kind of played his way out of my plans this year. Not a good defensive catcher. Did enough with the bat, but I don't know. I think we do better. So we're going to flip him along with Lupe Arcelia, a good defensive first base prospect, not really offensive. And then Caleb Klein, a guy with some range, I guess, and then some decent hitting ratings. And then we're going to flip them for Alfredo Plata, 20 years old. Crushed rookie ball, so that's something, I guess, from a 4th-round pick, and then $2.5 million cash. So we're going to pull the trigger on this, and then I think everyone else here I'm going to tender contracts to. Aiden Harris is borderline, but I think he showed enough last year as a part-time guy that we can keep him around on the bench. It's a little expensive, so maybe I'll maybe I'll amend that, but for now, he'll stick with the team. Balderas, thankfully, had a bad contract year, so his arbitration estimate is not very high. You see, if he was due for arbitration after these 2 years, he would have been like probably $8 million, $6 million. Instead, we get a good deal, and he's for 3. So not a bad time to lock him up. But I'm not sure. He's kind of regressed as he's aged into his mid-20s. He hasn't regressed a ton, but it's enough that it's a sign of concern, especially like the beginning of this year. Like he dropped off quite a bit, didn't have a good year. I think we're better off waiting, although that could easily backfire. This isn't a nothing contract. If we got him down to 6, bought out 2 free agent years, honestly, that's not a bad deal, but I guess we don't have a ton of salary long term. We have Mullinax, we have Morton, kind of guys that are here for a while. Maybe that makes sense to lock him up, but I don't know. Let's see. He did have a low BABIP this year. Below his career average, probably around like 300 after this year. Strikeout rate didn't dip. The walk rate's still there. Probably some batted ball luck, honestly, that led to his regression. But I don't know. Maybe we'll scout him again, see what's going on. And then we'll leave him for a little bit, and then for free agents, I did offer Emmett Sheehan a 1-year deal, $3.2 million. He had a nice year for us, and if we do lose Blanco, he's a nice guy to keep in the bullpen. Blanco, I'm borderline if I want to bring him back. It's a pretty affordable deal, but he's 33. It does make sense to bring him back. He's been a staple in this bullpen. Probably leads our. I would imagine he leads our history in saves, and he's been quite reliable. So maybe it's maybe we'll do the same deal as we did last time with him, where it's $9 million, 3 years. Maybe we'll make this a vesting option if he pitches or if he finishes 40 games. We'll see how he likes that. He does like it. Okay, so that would I feel pretty good about that. He's been so reliable, like it makes sense. Marquise Grissom will probably let go, even though he had a good season. I think we just do better. Then Kira, obviously, we talked about him and how we really haven't been able to build a well-rounded lineup with him in there. He wasn't making a ton of money, but now he's making like real money, so that'll be difficult long term. So I'll offer these minor league guys, and then we'll come back, update probably around free agency, or if we do a extension with Balderas. But we'll be back soon. All right, so this is another interesting trade. So Aiden Harris, the goods are really like all-star level player, but the bad, it's just been too much. The strikeout to walk rate is just not sustainable for a good player. I think he's gotten lucky a few seasons where like his BABIP was way higher than normal. Even last year when his BABIP was 342, he still had a below league average season with the bat. He's still a valuable guy because he can play some positions, but I think it's kind of just run its course here. So I'm going to trade him for Drew Jones, who is wrecked. Yes. He's making $9.5 million next season, but stayed healthy all of last season, played 110 games the year before. He's been able to play most of the time, and is a elite center fielder defender. So at least we're replacing Kira with a guy that is comparable defensively. Maybe not, definitely not the offensive player, but we were replacing at least a little bit of it for $9.5 million, basically. And Harris was due to make like 3.2. So, it's really only $6 million difference for a center fielder. And, infield, we're pretty deep. I don't really trust Tanaka or Tahara or anyone, but I think infield's easier to find than a really good defensive center fielder. And we'll only have him for a year, so it's not a big deal. And yeah, we're going to make that trade and add Drew Jones. It just hasn't worked, whatever we've been doing the last few years. So we're going to try throwing some other stuff against the wall and see if this sticks. So Drew Jones will slot into our team in center field. Molinex will go back to right, which is probably ideal. So our outfield's pretty set. Infield's still a little sketchy, but hopefully we can keep making some trades. Scouting report did come back on Balderas, and he's pretty much held. I think his contact might have gone down. Yeah, it did. So I think we'll probably just go year to year with him, just in case he does fall off a cliff, which has happened to a few guys in the save already. For some reason, Milt Allman's just playing hardball with us in arbitration. All right, there we go. He was like trying to push up to $6 million. I'm like, dude, your ARB estimate is 4.8. Like, don't go crazy with us. And then Jax Bishop didn't really have any trade value. I'm gonna non-tender him. I was looking at our bullpen, how it's gonna look next year, and with all these guys coming back, Derry Berry now in the equation, it makes sense to let Bishop go, and we'll roll out with these probably 7 guys, and then maybe one more dude, and that's it. So keep moving forward, deeper into the off season. Maybe we'll do awards. Let's do them while they come up. Now that I'm doing these year-long episodes, these things are going to be like an hour and a half anyway. So, yeah, we extended a couple of minor league dudes, whatever. Okay, so Gold Glovers. No one too surprising. Ethan Salas, man. Oh, what a stud defender, man. He'd be cool to get on this team. He's not too expensive. Wonder if, Diamondbacks are not looking to move him, especially not in division. And then Kira wins in center field, Molinex in right. So our tremendous outfield defense, win a couple more Gold Gloves. Reliever of the year, this guy John Sibley, swingman type, and then this guy finished second. And then the Rockies reliever, Steve Klassen. Total stud. Merton Blanco finishes 4th. Dave McCrabb finishes 7th. For reliever of the year. And then we go to Silver Sluggers now. Milt Almond extended. In the AL, Juan Cisneros, of course. The dude we traded for Workman. I'm going to bring that up every time. Finally broke out here, age 26. His age 26 season. After being a pretty, average player the first few years, but finally breaking out. Good for him. And then in the NL, no one on our team did any Silver Sluggers. So, Rookie of the Year, I don't know if we have anyone in contention. Pat Monahan. This guy Dave Aguirre. Yeah, that's a pretty good player. So these guys will probably, I think they'll hit free agency. Bumbre, our former first-round pick, he just regressed so much. Kind of look at where he is now. Like, this is just not a usable pitcher. And then Dave Ramirez, who was our first international guy, I believe. And he just never worked out. He had a couple plate appearances in the majors last season, a few seasons back. And spent this year mostly in AA and AAA. So those guys have kind of run their course here. Emmett Sheehan signed his extension. And then Pitcher of the Year, finally. goes to our ace, Emilio Marquez. Man, long awaited first Cy Young with the Stampede after winning 3 with Kansas City before he came here. But man, he's led the league in WAR 4 of the last 5 years, and the only reason he probably didn't lead in 2031 was because he was hurt. But yeah, he's had a tremendous run here. Really not showing any signs of slowing down as he wins at age 37. So good for him. Isaac Morton finishes like 6th down the ballot. Love to see that. He's had 2 awesome seasons for us as our number 2. But love to see that from Marquez, man. That's so much fun. Then Garrett Bauman wins in the AL for the Yankees. Any other familiar names? Not really. MVP Andy Scarlett. Did he win last year too? Oh my God, he's won 3 years in a row. Holy crap. I mean, the dude's a total stud. That's not surprising, but man, he's not even well, now he's arbitration eligible, but man, they got some good value off that rookie deal. Juan Cisneros finishes 3rd. No one else too familiar. Then in the NL, Ellie De La Cruz for the Dodgers, who are now rebuilding. Had an awesome season for them, 9.2 WAR. Kira finishes 5th. He's pretty much finished 5th every season that he's played. And then Emilio Marquez finishes 7th, and then that's about it down the ballot. So that'll wrap up awards. And I think we'll go to the the free agent filing periods next. Kira will get the QO and decline it, so we'll get some kind of draft pick for him after the first round of the draft. And then Hall of Fame voting begins. So I'm going to go do that. Stellar arbitrations in a few days, and we'll be back for free agency. All right, so we're here at free agent filings, and pretty funny how this works out. So Kira obviously hidden free agency. I don't think we're going to bring him back, but this guy, Rogelio Nieves, 26 years old, obviously not the player that Kira is, but a pretty comparable replacement. Asking $17 million a year. I would like to get some scouting on him before we do anything, so let's do that. But potentially a replacement for him coming out of international free agency here. And then the other guy that was interesting was the second baseman, this guy, Tejaki Moriyama. Don't like him as much just because of his defense, but he's cheaper. Wants an 8-year deal. But he is a really well-rounded hitter, probably more so than Nieves, but Nieves does have the defense. I'm not going to look at the 70, the contact. I'm going to look at the 55 because that's who he's most likely going to be. So we'll get some scouting on these guys, see what they look like. Either one would fit on our team, honestly. So yeah, we're looking pretty good. We don't have a ton of money to spend after the Drew Jones thing, but we can clear up some space if we were to move Tanaka or something. Which honestly, let's see what we can get for him. I'm not even sure if we can get anything, but he's due $4 million this year. I was hoping for a bounce back, maybe. But he might start at third base for us. See what we can do with him. Cam Robinson out here. We can bring him back. Yeah, so we can dump the salary if we want. I'm not sure if I want to yet. Maybe we'll wait for the scouting reports to come back on those dudes. See if we really want to sign them, and then if we need to, we can trade Tanaka, clear up that $4 million, just to give us a little more flexibility. Our bullpen is getting quite expensive, so but most of these guys are done after the year, like Hollowell. We can move him too. I prefer not to, but if we need to, and then Townsend's still expensive. So we have some guys, like a lot of guys making like $4 or $5 million. But yeah, let's wait for those scouting reports to come back and update. So a sad day here in Nashville is Katsuhiro Kira signs with the Portland Oaks, our fellow expansion team, and they swoop in and grab him as they look to continue on their success, 95 and 67 this year. Man, they have some crazy payroll right now. But yeah, they sign him away from us. We do get a first-round pick, supplemental pick, And yeah, our fans are not happy, obviously. But man, that's a lot of money to spend for a dude who's been hurt a lot. You know, it's not crazy or anything. Like, he's an MVP guy when he's out there, but I had my concerns about him. So, so a sad day for Nashville Stampede fans, of course. I do have an offer out for Nieves just because someone else offered him. So I gave him 6 years, 15 mil per season. I could rescind it when the scout report comes back, but it was like a 3-week freaking thing, and I don't know why my scout's taking so long, but we have a week left to wait for the scout report. Hopefully he doesn't sign before then. Okay, so this is our high scouting. This looks pretty similar to what we had. Ground ball hitter, which is nerve-wracking a little bit, but Moriyama's probably a better player. But I like Nieves' personality a bit more. Defense is obviously more versatile. Can he play any infield? Yeah, not really. So I think we'll keep the offer for Nieves. Where does that leave us? Balderas will probably move back to DH. Or maybe he'll place him first. I don't know if he has infield ability. Not really. But yeah, we'll figure it out. I guess Moriyama might make more sense. We'll get Shift Young to third. But I don't know. He's a switch hitter. What is Nieves? Is he a lefty? He's a lefty. That's fine. We have a lot of switch hitters in our lineup, so we should be good. Yeah, I'm gonna get Nieves, I think. We'll see if someone ups our offer. So they did. Los Angeles. They want to push it to 17 a year. Ouch. For a complete wild card, Moriyama's a lot cheaper. I mean, ability and intelligence, but he's only a second baseman. Like, that's my concern. Nieves can play any outfield spot, play it pretty well. I'll go to that, but I don't know if I can go much higher. Because this is already going to take a ton out of our team, and we got to hope we get a preseason budget boost. All right, so no big fish have come up the board. There was someone who just signed. Let's see who that was. Luis Marquez. Wow. Joey Gallo build. All right, so no one else come off the board, and Nieves got upped again by San Diego this time. I suppose we can do that. 18 for 6. God. I hope it doesn't go any higher, because then we have to cut back our budget even more. Guerrero signed. So Nieves likes our offer. Rufai drafts today, so see where we stand 40-man wise. We are 36. Bellarmine needs to be added, but I don't think I'm going to. I don't think he would get picked. He only pitched in rookie ball this year. Max Clark. I forgot he was still on the team. Holy crap. I guess you brought him back. That's why he's on the team. But I think he'll probably get picked. I might add him to my 40-man. I think he's a good guy to have on there. Jake Dinkins, he's got the control issues, but he was pretty good in AA. He might be worth an ad. I don't know if I want to add any of these other guys. DRC is a good player. I'll roll the dice and see if those guys get picked. I think Fortunato would get added, or would get picked by someone. I'm gonna add him. He's good. He's good starter depth. Although, does he have options? He's out of options. Maybe I'll just let someone pick him up. Dari Tucker is a guy a lot of people wanted in trade, so I'm gonna add him. And then we'll roll with that for now. Then we'll go into the draft. I have a feeling someone will get picked from our team. Yep, I was right. Marcus Furtado. Yep, saw that one coming. And we'll make our pick here. So, if we even want to. This guy's an interesting arm. Really fun arm. He's 33, though. Yeah, we'll probably pass. I don't think we really need anyone. This guy's interesting. Maybe I'll pick him. Just, he's 25. We could use some outfielders if we don't sign our dude there. And Gabe Darcy, yeah, I kind of saw him getting picked too. He was a guy who was borderline, but he's 33. He was a minor league free agent signing last year. Delete these messages. All right, so Rule 5 draft is done. We'll come back and update and when something happens. Okay, so we get our consolation prize. We get Rogelio Nieves. He's our Kira replacement, basically. At his best, which I don't think he'll reach at age 27 almost, he basically looks like a Kira clone with a little bit worse defense. But, yeah, he'll slot into one of our starting spots in the outfield, probably left field. Just because Jones probably is a little bit better defensively. And that'll push Balderas to DH, which is probably his best spot. He's not really a great defensive outfielder. So Nieves, he doesn't have the arm to play right field, so he'll slot in really nicely in left. And this is a good outfield. We kind of rebuilt it this offseason, and I think we're in good shape. The one roster hole that's pretty glaring is third base. We don't really have a dude. Tanaka, I think we'll give another shot to. Jace Young maybe can move over. We can put Becerra at second and just let him deal with it. Or let our defense kind of tank with him. I don't really know. I guess we could look in free agency, see if there's anything else, although we don't have a lot of money. Let's look at third baseman. Henry Allen, not a third baseman. This guy's interesting. Kason Evans. Jordan Lawler, we can bring him in. Yeah, maybe we're probably better off waiting to see what our budget's set at this season. We're 14th in payroll right now. Like, this is really our last shot with this. I say that every year, but like, I don't know. This is kind of falling apart as we watch. A lot of guys are due for free agency this season. Marquez is 37. Like, I don't know. I guess we have some young dudes in the lineup still, but we're kind of rebuilding on the fly here. So let's look at this lineup and kind of where we are. So leading off, I like Jace Young in that leadoff spot, but maybe we go Nieves. Nieves makes some sense. Our two hitter will probably be Balderas. Three will probably be Young. We'll go Molinex. Molinex cleaning up. I like Lesko in the 5 hole. Good contact hitter. Hazelrig is a good player. We'll put him 6. Drew Jones 7. Hall, Tanaka 8. Hall 9. I mean, that's not a bad lineup by any means. Then we have Kevin Pearson, who's a platoon option, who I like. Former early round pick, 3rd round pick. Bruce Northard's still here, who's a nice player, who should probably be starting, but won't be able to. He'll be our backup. So yeah, we just need a third baseman on this team, and we look pretty good. The pitching's solid, and I'm not too concerned about that. Let's do that. Okay, perfect. So we'll come back later in free agency, although I would like to see him make the Hall of Fame here. Jalen Beeks is a guy who is on the ballot. I voted for him. I don't know. He probably got dropped. Oh, no, he got 13.2%. He probably wouldn't go in as a Stampede guy, but he did play for us for 2 seasons, 2 half seasons. But Goldschmidt gets in, Altuve gets in, Cole gets in, DeGrom's close, Jansen's close, and then some other guys hung on the ballot. Posey got dropped, unfortunately. I think he deserves it. And yeah, there we go. We'll come back in just a bit. All right, so international free agency just happened. We got this guy, Blake Massingham, for only, $4 million? Was one of the best players in the class and decent defensively. Probably stick at second, but really good bat upside. Switch hitter. Probably won't play. Maybe he'll play in rookie ball this year. We'll see. Then we also signed a couple more guys for smaller deals. Domingo Sabreros, decent defensive catcher, bad work ethic, but the bat has some upside, and cheap enough. And then this guy Urena, who has decent defensive ratings and good offensive upside. And then Juan Mata was the last guy we got for 530,000. Really good defensive catcher. We'll see if he can do anything. But yeah, we got 4 guys this year. I'm going to keep moving forward. We did have to cut back our development and scouting. Our owner actually maybe dropped our budget. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he dropped it because we had to move our scouting budget and development budget down just a little bit to stay have enough money. So we're in a little bit of salary cap hell, I guess you can call it. But most of these deals are off the books next season. The big ones, at least. So got to keep moving forward in the offseason. We'll come back maybe around spring training, end of spring training probably, opening day, unless something big happens. All right, here at opening day, and we'll go through kind of who made the team, any surprises or anything, but I guess it's pretty much what you expect. Bob Long was out of options, and I didn't really want to pass him through waivers, so I decided to keep him on the team, even though he had a rough spring. Deshaun Eiffel will be our backup infielder. He had a nice enough spring relatively to the rest of the team. Tanaka will be our starting third baseman. He didn't, he was, I'm not going to say it was his job to lose, but he did enough at least to hold that spot for another, month or two. Then on the pitch, I guess Amazon is back as our backup catcher. That's another thing to add. And then pitching wise, some small surprises, I guess. Dusty Brooks was out of options, despite only pitching in 2 total games in his career. But he was out of options. I like him as a player, so I'm gonna keep him on the team for now. He'll be my long man. Steve Graysick is gonna take the 5th starter spot from Robbie Watkins. He had a really good spring. And honestly, I'm kind of done with Watkins as a starter. I just think he's probably better as a reliever at this point. He's been good as a starter, but he's a league average starter. I think he could be a really good bullpen arm, so I'm going to hope things work out like that. He had a rough spring, but he could make his way back into the rotation if we need a man. But I'm going to give Graysick a shot. Milt Almond also pitched well in spring, so he'll get his 4-starter spot back. Then the rest of the bullpen is kind of as expected. So, okay, we're here opening day. And I guess let's go through prospects really quick. Blake Massingham, who is our big international guy, we signed him for $4 million. He is a number 14 prospect in baseball. Julio Lopez, who was a scout and discovery last year, he slots in at number 38. Josh Shields, former first-round pick. He is the number 88 prospect in baseball. I really like him. I wish that movement would tick up in the control, obviously, but he'll start the year in Double-A. Luis Moreno, who was scout and discovery back in 2031, has lost a ton of luster, but still slots in the top 100. Kikane Tari, who was an IFA 2 years ago, or maybe that's 3 years ago, 3 off seasons ago. He is the number 167 prospect, and Kurt Fleming rounds out our top 200 guys at 193. Mike Cook had a really good spring, 808 OPS. I'm putting him in Double-A. I kind of forgot to call him up, I guess. So he played the year in rookie ball, but he should be on the fast track. Could be my third baseman as early as mid-season. But let's hop into this. Emilio Marquez will make yet again an opening day start. Only getting better as he ages, like a fine wine. Game 1 of the season in Miami, we lose 4-0. So, maybe this is a good thing because it feels like we always win opening day and then we always suck in the playoffs. So maybe it's good that we lost opening day. Marquez didn't look great. Walked a few too many guys. So game 2 of the year, Isaac Morton on the mound. We lose 6-0. And he gets hurt. So this is a great start to the season. He'll be out 2 weeks, so we'll IL him. And we need a body to come up and start. I think we'll probably call up Sam Derryberry. Watkins, maybe we'll start him when it comes around to his turn. He'll have to make 2-3 starts. So not a big deal. We lose 6-0. That's kind of the bigger deal. 6 hits as a team. Just nothing offensively. And Morton got hurt, which sucks. So looking to salvage the series here and maybe score our first run of the year in Game 3. Also, I should say, our owner wanted us to go above 500. And we get 1 run as we fall 2-1. Our only run was by Jeremy Hall. So about as bad as a start to the season as you can draw up. Hopefully things just get better from here. I imagine they couldn't get any worse. So, yeah, that'll wrap up the 2035 offseason. We'll come back in just a little bit with a midseason update. Okay, so we're back with our, I guess, almost 2 months in update. And I just got one of the saddest pieces of news, I think, in my out-of-the-park baseball history of playing this game. My favorite player in the save, Emilio Marquez, just went down with elbow ligament reconstruction surgery. He'll be out 10 to 11 months. We'll miss the rest of the season. And we have a team option for him next year, and he'll probably miss, the start of the year. Yeah, this just sucks. And honestly, this probably, signals that we're at the beginning of the end as he goes down. We're still playing okay. We're 22-18, but the offense has been anemic. The pitching's still been good, and Marquez hasn't even been great, ERA-wise, but check out his FIP. It's been as good as ever, mostly due to his home runs coming down. The walks are still good. The strikeouts are as high as they've ever been. It just really sucks to lose him because, the overall numbers, I think they would have improved. He might have, maybe won another Cy Young here, but unfortunately, we'll be moving forward without him. Drew Jones has been out for a lot of the year. When he's been out there, he's been good, but, he's out for about 2 months now. He'll be out 2 months by the time his injury's up. So we've been out without him. Good news, though, I guess, is that Alex Kranzler has finally come back after missing nearly 2 years. Probably almost exactly 2 years with, I don't even know what he went out with. Let's see. He had the torn rotator cuff. It's out 13 months, and then 6 months later was out for 15. And he's come back, and, the ratings are definitely still there. So excited to have him back. He's pitched in a couple games for us, and he's been good. But, the big news is obviously the Emilio Marquez thing. But we have some guys who I want to try to, fill that void the best we can. So Sam Derryberry is a guy who's going to step into the rotation to make this start. Watkins will hop back in after that. He's just tired, so he can't. But Watkins pitched well in 3 starts that he had earlier in the year. We're missing Isaac Morton for a few. He's come back and pitched well, much better than he was in his first 2 starts of the year, which were really bad. But the rest of the rotation's been great. Gracek's been really solid, giving us a good 5 innings, 6 innings each start. Allman's been really good since a rough start to the year. Johnny Colburn's been awesome. Take away this last start. And the bullpen's been great, too. You can see no one really having a bad year in here. So, the offense has just not really been enough. Vicente Valderas has gotten off to a red-hot start. And we were talking about extension with him in the offseason, but I wound up pulling the trigger on one. I went and checked out his demand. He got off to a good start, so, I thought about extending him. And what a reasonable extension here. This is what he pretty much was asking for. It was a little bit more in these. I think it was 17 in the free agency years, which were the 30, 31, 32 seasons. But these seasons, this is a great deal for a, all-star level player who's off to a really good start this season. Was actually doing a little bit better until a little bit of a rough patch. But besides that, actually, Yasuki Tanaka's been on a nice little run. WRC plus of 111. I'll take that all day from him after what he gave us last year, which was less than nothing. Mike Lesko's been good. A little bit of a rough stretch here that's dropped his overall numbers, but he's been reliable. Danny Hazelrig, our catcher this season, playing pretty well. I'd like a little bit more offensively. He's going to be a bad defensive guy, but He's been good. And then Kevin Pearson's been good in a platoon role. But besides that, we've gotten like nothing from the rest of this team. Jace Young's off to a rough start. Jeremy Hall hasn't really done too much, but he has a nice average, and I'll take this offensively from him. But Nieves has not been great to start the year. He's been on a little bit of a cold stretch here. Still brings some stuff with the glove and has some speed. He's stolen 10 bases, but we'd like a little bit more out of him, I think. And then Bruce Northard got a little bit of a ratings boost coming into the season, and he hasn't really done much. And these guys aren't really playing too much, but haven't done anything. So, yeah, the offense has been anemic. We're dealing with the Marquez injury now, and it might just be the beginning of the end for us. But we'll try to make the playoffs again and see what happens when we get there. But we'll check in just a little bit. All right, so we're halfway through the season. We're 50-33. Somehow, some way. We're 5th in runs scored, 2nd in runs against. I don't know how the heck we've done this, but this is like the most random group of players, and somehow it's working. We do have some bad news. Robbie Watkins has been pitching like a legit ace this season, but does have pending injuries. So he lasted just 2 outs in his last start. But man, he was finally putting it together here at age 25, but we might be without him. We'll see about that. He is fragile, so we knew that was always a possibility. But this is we're doing this without even Isaac Morton pitching well, which he's pitching okay. Like, he's been a league average pitcher, but he's given us really solid number 2 numbers the last few seasons. But Johnny Colburn's picked up the slack, having his best season by far. Milt Allman putting in a great season. I'm limited to 85 pitches, and I'm just going to keep rolling with that because the dude still has no control. 5.1 walks per 9. But he gets it done. And then Steve Brasic is like the opposite. He doesn't strike anyone out, but doesn't walk anyone either. So, yeah, it's worked. This is pretty much all worked pitching-wise. And if Morton pitches closer to like his FIP, we could have a heck of an all-time pitching staff here. Even this dude Victor Vodnik, who I picked up as a minor league free agent, he's had to step in, and he's pitched well in limited time. But yeah, everyone else, I mean, do I even need to talk about it? We knew this was going to be a strength coming into the year, and it has been so far. So yeah, good stuff there. And then hitting wise, it's honestly not been bad. We've pieced this together. So Mike Molinex is out with an injury for a little bit, but he's come back and played really well. John Becerra just called him up. He's my starting second baseman. I'm saying screw the defense. We're just gonna play this guy. He's the best bat we got in the minors, even though he's not a good second baseman. We'll deal with it, I guess. We have good gloves around the infield, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, he's played well since being called up. Bruce Northard, yes, I knew he had this in him. And he's finally playing well. 113 WRC plus, been on an absolute tear. Still only playing part-time, but I'm gonna try to mix him in a little bit more. Jace Young's come back to life. He's shown a little bit offensively. Vicente Valderas has come back down after a hot start, but overall, I still have faith that he's gonna put up a good season. And Danny Hazelrig still playing well. Mike Lesko could be better, but he's been okay. And Nieves has turned it on this past month or so. Check out his July so far. Only 4 games, but his June is good too. So he's showing a little bit of life offensively, which is a good sign because we're paying him a good amount of money to do that. He's also played good defense as well, playing some center, some left. So then like Deshaun Eiffel's been really good as a bench bat. Jeremy Hall's been serviceable as a shortstop. He's pretty good defensively. Bob Long playing part-time. He's been okay. Kevin Pearson, same deal. These guys kind of platoon over. Well, they don't platoon because they're both lefties, but they split the time pretty evenly over in left field. And then Amazin's been bad as our backup catcher, but he hypothetically brings good defense. But I actually think we could do better. I think we have. Let's see. We definitely have something in the minors. Valero's the guy who's on our 40-man. has kind of crushed minor league pitching, but I'm worried about his personality a little bit. But honestly, at this point, like, let's do it. This guy's just been waiting down the minors, so let's put Valero in. He's not going to play too much, but he can mix in at least. But yeah, things have been pretty good. Tanaka got hurt, but it's a small injury. He's only out for another 5 days. He's missed about 2 weeks. Then we'll wait on the Watkins thing. Maybe we'll get that news within the next few days. I can sum up to it. A 20-game hitting streak by Molinex just got snapped, but Becerra a couple more hits. Colburn not the best start. So hopefully we get this news on Watkins. He's due to pit. Oh my god. Jesus. That is so much worse than I could have ever imagined. That is actually devastating. Holy crap. This was our 30th overall pick in 2028. And, you know, he's had an up and down career as a swing man, but he was finally putting it together here at age 25. And I was just raving about how consistent he's been as a starter and everything. And, man, he put up 2.5 WAR in just 84 innings. And now his career is over, unfortunately. So, man, this has been the saddest episode of OOTP I've ever had to record. This is very difficult. But Watkins, we will always remember you for what you brought to the team. But the show must go on, I suppose. So the next guy up, I guess, is Sam Derryberry. You know, we're kind of digging pretty deep into our depth right now, but Derryberry's a decent pitcher, and I think he can hold his own. But yeah, I don't even want to think about that. That freaking sucks, man. He's a leader too, good work ethic. He was fragile, and he's dealt with a few different injuries. You know, he had the elbow ligament. That's probably why he had his second big elbow injury. He had an arthritic elbow, so it was kind of just elbow strains. He was kind of just a ticking time bomb, I guess, in hindsight. But man, I didn't think it'd be like that. This is the first time in this version of the game that I've had that happen, so that's tough. I'm not even going to think about it anymore. Watkins, I'm sorry. We'll move on without you, though, so going to keep simming. We're definitely going to have to address some pitching here at the deadline, I think, so we'll be back at that point. Or actually at the draft. All right, so we're here at the first-year player draft with the 27th pick, and let's jump right into it. So gonna look at what's available here early. This guy's nice if he ever fell to us, but actually he doesn't have a out pitch at all, so never mind. But I guess he's still interesting. The guy probably won't develop a changeup. This is also all pitchers. Yeah, that'd be a nice player to put on our team. But okay, let's go to our pick. Let's see. I might just go for the highest upside guy, honestly. I've been taking so many high floor dudes, and just, I don't know. We don't have any star power on this team. Like, we're a good team, but like we don't have. As I say that, I kind of want to take this guy now, but we don't have a ton of star power at the moment. Like, we kind of have to start, bringing those guys in at some point here. So let's see what my scout thinks. Yeah, he thinks Nate Parker. I kind of agree with him. The Ks are an issue, but man, this is a heck of a bat. It can play a corner outfield spot. It's difficult because our outfield is kind of locked up. It's not necessarily, Nieves, Molinex, and Balderas are, but there's still a spot open there for sure. So if we were to bring in Nate Parker, I think that'd be a pretty good ad, and he can come in probably next season and play for us. But I'm gonna look around, see what else is here. This is catcher, pretty high floor. This guy's not bad. Nice personality, but just a corner outfielder, most likely. Vicente Beans. Wow, what's a heck of a name. great personality on this dude, but no defensive home. I guess he can play a corner outfield spot, but I'm not really keen on taking a DH in the first round or first baseman, either one. Jamie Bargar, Grandpa. Decent infielder, maybe can play some second base, but again, is he better than our dude Parker? I'm not sure. Let's take a look at pitchers really quick. I don't think I'm gonna go that route, just because we have a ton of guys like on the verge. But man, Eric Shore making me kind of think about this a little bit more. The changeup is concerning, but everything else looks good. This reminds me of that guy we took in the Rockies save. Jaime, I forgot what his last name is, but the guy we took as an ace with the 3 pitches. I don't like taking 3-pitch guys, but he just looked too good to pass up. This guy's stamina concerns me. If that drops to a 35, which it very well could, he's kind of out of a job. But holy crap, yeah, there's some good arms here. I honestly might go that route instead. I still like Nate Parker a lot. And he's probably the safest pick. He's durable. He's a good bat, which we desperately need on this team. But man, the appeal of Shore, I don't know. I'm gonna jump off. We'll weigh the options and come back. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with Nate Parker here. So I shouldn't say I probably would have taken him, but I would have strongly considered him if he didn't have a $9 million demand. We don't have a lot of money to work with. We can pretty much only offer slot to these guys. So Eric Shore was the other guy that I would have considered, but the floor on these high school guys is just too low. He is durable. Oh man, shit. We have a comp pick, so there's a shot Shore would fall to us. I'm not saying it's likely, but we do have another pick coming up. And that would be, let's see, we got to get through like 10 picks, give or take. I'm not sure if he sticks, but yeah, I think Nate Parker's probably too much of a need, and the high floor combined with the high upside is just a little too intriguing. So I'm gonna draft him, and then maybe Shore will be there, and he's not, unfortunately. Where did he go? I bet he went with like the next pick. I mean, oh my god, he went first pick in the supplemental round. Damn, I wish you weren't so good. I'm gonna try to trade for him. I don't know. We'll see if that's even possible. But Sean Faber is a guy I like. He's a low demand. Ben Dennison too, but the low stamina combined with the low control, I've kind of realized is a bad combo where like you're not gonna throw a lot of innings. Just observations of this year's game. You throw a lot of pitches and you're not gonna go deep into games in general. And if you don't have the stamina to go deep into games, you're certainly not gonna make it that far. So this guy Chris Miller is interesting. I love the floor, which is something we kind of need. Okay, so let me kind of update on what's going on with our prospects here. So we have Massingham. He's not even close. Josh Shields, he was a first-round pick 2-3 years ago at this point. He was a high school guy, and he's developed nicely. Is he a long-term like ace? The movement control both being that low is obviously concerning, but he could possibly make it work if that ticks up to a 50 and that goes up to a 45. I've seen worse guys, work as starters, but and then whatever. These guys, Moreno's kind of improving, I guess, but he's still stuck in A-ball. I might just promote him. I mean, his ratings look good enough to make it to. Maybe not. His eye. I don't know why his eye hasn't developed at all. It's very interesting. But we have Kikane Tari, who Was an IFA a couple of years ago. Still stuck in rookie ball. Hasn't really developed much at now 20 years old. Bellarmine might be the best guy, most likely to make it out of this next tier of guys, which is, not Shields, which is kind of like Fleming too. I think Fleming can work out, but less of an upside when compared to Bellarmine. Montelongo, he was a first-round pick 2 years ago, pitching well in A right now, so he might have a shot as well. Eric Boxberger was a guy I really liked years back. The control has not really made it, but everything else is kind of there at this point, so just going to be a waiting game on him. Chad Fletcher, another one of these early round pick guys. He's been okay. And Marquise Bogans, he was a late pick, but I like the pitching that we have. I don't know if there's anyone with a huge upside. Sean Faber is really interesting. Actually reminds me a lot of Emilio Marquez in the way that he kind of has a low stamina, but everything else is elite. I think it might just be worth throwing a dart at him. Maybe that stamina ticks up. He has a pretty decent floor as a 19-year-old. The only thing is, once you're 19, I think it's 4 years until you're Rule 5 eligible. Instead of, it would be 5 if you were under 19. But I could be wrong about that. But anyway, I'm going to jump off. We'll be back. All right, so I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to throw the dart at Sean Faber. I mean, worst case is in being he doesn't work as a starter. He's going to be an insane reliever. Like, I don't know. If his stamina took up to a 45 or, God forbid, a 50, he would be like the best player in baseball. So I think it's worth the risk. We're going to do it. We need some upside, like I've been saying. And there's still a ton of guys left here with our next pick that I was looking at last round. Danny Burke being one of them I really liked. Let's see. Who else? I was looking through, and I saw a lot of pitchers that high floor guys. Ben Dennison is still a guy that I like, despite the low stamina. I mean, round 1 was always ridiculous that I was going to take him, but round 3 or round 2, late round 2, makes a lot more sense. Where's this other guy? There's a lot of relievers here, and I'm not completely out on taking relievers because they're probably the most sure thing that you can get in the draft. So I like Dennison. I think I might throw a dart at Dennison. He's kind of comparable to the guy we just took, but he just has a little bit worse control. He has a ton of out pitches. He's got a splitter, knuckle curve, curveball. The cutter looks elite. I think this is kind of a working formula for an arm. And he's pretty high floor at age 17, so I'm going to take Ben Dennison. See what he's got, and we'll roll that dice. It's still a ton of guys here. Bobby Hoffman's a really nice offensive catcher, but probably a little, I don't know. I don't like taking bad defensive catchers. Nate Donner was a guy I really liked. I liked the defensive upside, or defensive floor, and then the upside offensively. All looks like a pretty good player. Let's go to all batters. Yeah, these guys don't really have positions. I guess Bao does, but he has low work ethic. Not really a center field guy, even close. Yeah, I think Donner's probably the guy I like the most, just because of his defense. There wasn't really anyone else that caught my eye. Derek Bullock I like, but we just took the third baseman Mike Cook last year, who's probably just a little bit better of a version of Bullock. Tony Keller's a nice high floor, kind of like the college version of that other guy. Nate Donner. Donner a little bit higher of an upside, a little bit better defensively, but I mean Keller, he's 21 though. Does he have a high enough floor as a 21-year-old? That's the question. Man, this is a tough pick because it really puts. I usually think I would take the college guy first, but I don't know. I don't like the lowish floor for him. Didn't hit great in college. Not that that means anything really, but yeah. Okay, let's actually. I don't use this tool enough, but let's compare these two. Compare player, and it should go to Okay, so Donner. See, the current ratings aren't that far off, at least in the the key ones like contact, home run, avoid Ks. They're not that far off, and the upside is about the same. Actually, yeah, they're very comparable with their current ratings. The upside is basically the same, and defensively, Donner's slightly better. But he does have a nice floor with the gap power in the eye, at least. I think they're. I was gonna say I think there's a better chance Donner's there next round. As opposed to Keller. Keller has the high work ethic, loyalty. Donner has the high work ethic and loyalty as well. Low leader. Shit. This is tough. Tony Keller's a switch hitter. Donner's just a righty. I think I'm gonna go with Tony Keller. Let's see who has better speed. Keller has slightly better speed. Okay, I'm gonna take Keller, but if Donner's there next round, I'm gonna take him, and that makes it easy. Okay, we're gonna throw 2 darts at those dudes. Perfect. This guy I like this guy a lot, but he has bad personality. But honestly, the floor is high enough where it doesn't even matter that much about his work ethic. I guess it does, but not quite as much. But anyway, we're gonna go through the rest of the draft off camera. Just keep this episode shortish. This is already taking too long to make these picks, so we'll be back after the draft. All right, so I think this turned into a pretty good draft for us overall. Man, we've been through a lot of these at this point. Wish Tucker was doing a little bit better, but yeah, we took Nate Parker first round. I think he'll probably go right to A, maybe high A, with a quick track to the majors potentially. Sean Faber was our second round pick. Ben Dennison Faber was our supplemental pick. Dennison was second round. Took Tony Keller in the third. Took Nate Donner, double dipped at shortstop / middle infield. We took Donner in the fourth, and then we took this guy Chris Hines. Nice defensive player, decent offensive potential. Could be a nice fourth outfielder. Castellano was a guy that I liked because of his high floor with the bat and decent catcher ability. Has a bad personality, but I thought it was worth throwing a flyer in round 6 at that point. And then Mike Potok, took him in the 7th round. Has some pretty decent upside, but a low floor. And then took a couple different guys. Nothing like too crazy. Greg Beal is an interesting player. We took a couple of relievers at this point. Took back maybe a catcher, first baseman. There wasn't anything crazy, but I think they were all like solid picks. Where there's a shot these guys can make an impact in our system somewhere. This guy was good. Joe Brent, decent infield defender and a really good outfield defender as well. And then, nothing else like too crazy, but took a couple of relief pitcher prospects. This guy was interesting. I guess 70 infield range, 75 outfield range. So, if he hit at all, he could be a nice utility guy. But that'll wrap up the draft. We'll come back in just a bit. Okay, so we're up to the All-Star break and check out who made the roster. So, Emilio Marquez wound up making it, despite making just 8 starts in the first half. Due mostly, I'm sure, to popularity and stuff, but he's apparently the starter. But Merton Blanco was our other representative. And that was it. No hitters. Not really too surprising. We've been more of a, a balanced attack where like we don't have any standout hitters and we don't really have any horrible hitters. We've had some bad ones, but not really anyone bad. But yeah, no one with a WRC plus over 118 at this point. But a lot of guys hovering around 100. So that's kind of how we done it. We're 7th in runs scored, so right in the middle of the pack in the NL. But first in runs against. This rotation is kept alive despite the injuries to both Watkins and Marquez this season. We're in second place, down by 4 games, and Molinex is out again, which we don't love to see. He was playing really well. He was probably our best hitter actually up to that, but Drew Jones is back from his injury, so that helps out. Those kind of coincided with his coming back and Molinex getting hurt, so it was convenient enough. I'd like to have Molinex out there, of course, but we're kind of with a roster. It's kind of a roster crunch. There's no one like obvious to send down. I guess Bob Long could be DFA'd, but he's been okay and he plays a good outfield defense. I don't want to just lose him, but it's been pretty good. The offense has been really balanced this year. Something we really can't say for past years. And as we move toward like the deadline area, we are technically negative in money available, but it's not really a huge deal. We were able to offer contracts to all of our draftees, so they all signed. So like we can roll out the rest of this year with what we have, and we'll finish in the negatives, but that's fine. So yeah, we're going to keep moving forward. I don't know if we can even make any moves at the deadline. We'll have to have someone eat an entire contract, which limits who we can get. We could probably get like some reliever and have them eat the contract, like this guy, 32-year-old, last year of his deal. Just see hypothetically if they would deal with us. Also, I didn't mention this before, but Portland signed Kira, and I looked and he broke his kneecap. Yeah, this is kind of what I was concerned about. Like, he has these weird long injuries that just seem to pop up every season, and that's one of the reasons I didn't sign him. And year 1 into the 7-year deal, it's already popped up for Portland, so he'll miss the rest of the year. Played just 58 games for them. Again, was really good in them, and he's obviously going to be a good player when he's out there, but like the last, however, since 2031, so it's been the last 5 seasons of that 10-year deal. He missed time at the end of the year, like in key moments, and missed the playoffs and missed the whole season. Like, even if he was durable, he was not durable for me. So just something to, I've made some bad decisions in this series, but that was probably one that's looking okay as of now, because we would have had to really move some salary around to re-sign him, and that would have meant not bringing in other guys and having a weaker bullpen and stuff. And so far it's worked out kind of a more balanced attack this year. So we are going to have to look maybe for another starter. I'm not entirely sold that we need to get one, but Alek Manoah would be a really cheap option. We can pick him up, have him meet the rest of the deal. He's good enough to, hold down a rotation spot. Sam Derryberry has been amazing, but I don't know if I can trust him fully. Like, check out his freaking numbers. Like, he's been insane. He's thrown 18 scoreless innings as a starter. That doesn't really seem right, but yeah, because one of these is a minor league start. Yeah, he's thrown 18 scoreless innings as a starter. So he has the spot for now, but I want to have a guy that's available to start, because checking out our AAA team, there's not really a ton to like for starters. Plenty of relievers and stuff, but Marquise Bogans is probably the next guy up. He's fine, I guess. John Mark Eaton's okay. Riley Kelly, I guess, is a pretty good option. He'd probably be the next guy up. But can I trust this guy to make key starts down the stretch? I don't know. Madrigal's okay. Josh McNabb's fine. We had Dusty Brooks up in the beginning of the year. That didn't really work out. I wanted to give him a shot. And then Jake Dinkins is a guy that I like, and his control actually ticked up. So he might be a usable pitcher. I don't know, probably not as a starter by any means, but a minor league free agent signing that worked out pretty well. Or no, that was a trade with Colorado. Oh, that was for Eddie Ellis. Shoot. Kind of forgot about Eddie. He really hasn't done anything in Colorado. He was fine a couple of years back. Last year, or this year, hasn't been any good. So that trade might have worked out. We might have a reliever here of some sort. I like Mike Chambers too. He's okay as an option. But yeah, my point being that we don't have a ton of reliever options. So I think the trade for Alek Manoah, where the heck did he go? Alek Manoah makes a lot of sense. Of course, his stuff's going to tick down as a starter. But, I mean, I think he can start just fine. So, and they don't want anything for him. So we're basically getting him for free. So let's try to give up at least we can. Maybe a something prospect just so I don't feel so cheesy. We can give this 33-year. Yeah, I mean, this isn't a bad pitcher. If you squint hard enough, it's actually a pretty decent arm. For Alek Manoah, 38 years old, on a 1-year deal. A prove-it deal. And he's been pretty good out of the bullpen for them. So let's pull the trigger for that. We're going to start him in the bullpen. We do have, like, open roster spots. We've had Dakey Tucker up. He's a guy who's pitched really well in AAA. And, pretty much all levels he's pitched well. Who was having an especially good year. Former 12th round pick. Fastball, curveball, forkball. Pretty interesting pitch mix. Only 26, and he has options. So he's a guy who I am cool with sending back down. We'll call him up when we need him. Victor Vodnik is another guy. He's out of options. He's 36. So he's been in the league for a while. I don't know how much time he's had in the majors. Oh yeah, he's pitched almost every year in the majors. And has been a pretty good reliever. 3.75 ERA, 108 ERA plus. So he's another option out of the bullpen, and he is going to probably stick with the bullpen for the rest of the year. But we'll add Manoah to the team. He'll start as a reliever if we need him to start. He'll come in, but I don't know what other moves there are to make. There's no one bad enough on offense that makes any sense to move. Like Valderas has been bad, but he's kind of locked into that spot, and that maybe that extension's looking kind of stupid, but it's still reasonable enough that I'm not really worried about it. Shortstop Jeremy Hall's been just fine. He's holding it down pretty well. Good defense, hitting for a high average, which does matter. John Becerra over at second, little nerd. He's not a good defender over there, but he hasn't been game-wrecking bad. And I still like him quite a bit. So, honestly, we're probably going to go right up to July 31st here and, see what's going on, see if there are any last-minute injuries. But this might be it, and we'll go into the playoffs with this squad. So, we'll come back if there are any moves to make. Yeah, so there's really no other moves to make, I don't think. We'll just run with the offense. We'll run with this pitching staff. We got some guys in the minors if we need to call them up. But this will be the team we run into the second half with. Drew Jones is a ticking time bomb with his injuries, so could run into some issues there. But Molinak should be back within the next month. And hopefully these guys just keep playing well enough to squeak us into the playoffs here. We are in good position. We're first wild card, up 6 games. But there's a ton of teams here. Just waiting to pounce. So our best bet would be winning the division, but Atlanta's been really good this season. Just out of curiosity, expanded standings. We're plus 82 run differential, so we're playing exactly how we should be according to our Pythagorean run differential based record determination there. So. I think we're probably this good of a team. Hopefully we can sneak into the playoffs, and hopefully we can make some stuff happen. A lot of hopefullys there, but man, I wish Marquez would come back, and Watkins. We're gonna have to ride with this team, so we'll come back probably September at some point. All right, we are here September 2nd, 2036. Nashville Stampede are 80-54. Up 4 games on the Oaks and 5 on the Rays and 6 what is that? 11 up on the Rockies for the final wild card spot. Yeah, it's been a pretty nice little month we had. It wasn't the best. Obviously dealt with some adversity, but where the heck is the screen that I'm looking for? Yeah, okay, it's in info. Yeah, we went 17-12 in August. Pretty good. Take away April, and yeah, we've been a really good team. Like a 600 winning percentage team, which is pretty elite. Probably like 610 maybe. But yeah, things have been good. We're the offense is still not breaking any records or anything, but the pitching has been incredible. We don't have like a true ace at the moment. Morton's been on the rise and he's had a bunch of good starts in a row, but after him, it's like I don't even know who would start in a game 2 of a series. I guess it would be Colburn, but I don't feel great about it. And then probably Derryberry, honestly. It's funny, I drafted him, but mostly because I thought his name was cool. But he's turned into a heck of a player, honestly. So could be a long-term starter for us. We'll see. He's cooled off after a hot start, but still giving us like quality outings every time out. And then the bullpen has been incredible. There's really no other words to describe it. Our worst pitcher has been Merton Blanco, and he's on pace for 2 WAR this year. So, and he was an all-star for whatever that counts. But yeah, Dave McCrabb has been amazing. Blake Townsend came back from his injury. He's been awesome. Carlos Mendoza, dude, that was a minor league free agent signing years back. Finally getting his chance the last few years and has emerged as one of the best relievers on our team. I guess they're all pretty good, though. Evan Sheehan also having a heck of a season. Gavin Hollowell, for what it's worth, is also having a great year, but he's just been overshadowed by a lot of these other guys. And shout out Alex Kranzler, man. Dude came off like a 2-year absence from the major leagues and has come back and looked like a total stud. Good for him. Glad he made it back. I honestly did not think he would. I thought when it happened, you can go back. I was like, yeah, I doubt he'll ever like be the same pitcher again. Like he'll probably just his ratings will all drop and like he'll suck after he missed like 22 months. But he's come back and been probably better than he's ever been with us. I mean, he didn't have a ton of time in the majors, but in his limited time, he was good, but not great. But this year, he's finally gotten a real shot, and bang, he's blown up. So, offensively, been a different story. Kind of the same thing as our last update. You see, these are the guys, these are our regulars, and no one's below an 83. Minus Jeremy Hall, he's in there for the glove, but minus that, no one's below a 93. And our best hitter is a 114, so we're like 10% better or worse than league average, pretty much everyone. So no superstars, but no weak links, really. Drew Jones has been probably our best hitter down the stretch here. He's been awesome all year when he's been out there. Molinax is back too, so that's made things interesting. So Balderas has really struggled. He's picked things up recently, but man, he's been bad this second half of the year. Honestly, since that first 2 months of the year, he's been like unplayably bad offensively, and he doesn't play defense really either. So, although he had to play a little bit, and he was good out there, but yeah, I looked at his splits just as like, dude, like what's going wrong this year? And he's been bad. Like he's been okay against righties, but he's been so bad against lefties this year. So we're actually benching him against lefties, and Tanaka's taking over. I guess he's been playing DH full time, but Balderas comes in against righties. Then we have Tanaka against lefties. So and then this lineup, I don't even know where to bat anyone because like everyone's so average. So it's like Drew Jones is technically my 3-hitter with a 113 WRC plus. It's him or Molinax who are probably my best hitter. Jace Young is a guy I trust, so he's high in the order, obviously. But like I don't know what to do with this team. Nieves has been better too. He just doesn't walk. Like that's his issue. Like if he walked 8% of the time, he'd be a really nice hitter. But he's walking 5% of the time, which makes him it makes him tough to use. But he's still been okay. He's on pace for like 3 WAR, 3.5 WAR. Yeah, he's on pace for 3.5 WAR, which is like totally fine with me. I wish he hit a little bit more, but he's been good. He's hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's 20 bombs, which leads our team. We're 11th in home runs, which is, I don't know if we've ever ranked like within the top half of the league in home runs ever, but our defense has been elite. So we're basically doing it with everything besides hitting, which makes sense. That's kind of how this game is made up. Good news on Josh Shields. He got a nice little development his last update. And, the control and movement have both ticked up a little bit. And the stuff still looks good. He's only 21. He's up to AA this year. Didn't pitch great there or anything, but the FIP and Sierra look a lot better. I think Sierra doesn't take into account, must not take into account home runs or something, because his home run rate's ridiculous. I know I looked it up, what it means, like what Sierra actually indicates, but anyway, yeah, we're gonna keep moving forward here. If there's a tight race, we'll jump in. If not, we'll be back for the playoffs. All right, so we're coming down the stretch here. We just tied with Portland for the first wild card, so I think that's reason enough to jump in. We have 2 series left, and then the 2 series, yeah, 2 series left, and we have the last game here in Texas, looking to avoid a sweep. Tough game last time. Isaac Morton, he's been on a nice run, kind of emerging as our de facto ace, and then unfortunately Blake Townsend, who's been so good this season, gave up a couple runs to suffer the lead, but Milt Almond here on the bound for the last game. We lose 3-2. And it looks like Merton Blanco blew this one, his 9th blown save on the year. And now we run a 3-game set with our bottom 3 starters. I guess it's all relative, but they're not the best arms. But Steve Graysick got hurt, unfortunately. Man, he had been so good this year, like so consistent. The FIP and Sierra obviously don't live up to, he's not a big strikeout guy, so he's not going to have a great FIP, but the results were there. And he was playing really well, but yeah, he's going to miss the rest of the regular season, probably most of the playoffs if we make it that far. But here we go, Johnny Colburn on the mound. And the Oaks are game up, but we do win. Big victory here. Colburn, pretty good start, gave us a ton of length. And Townsend closed it out on this one. So Riley Kelly will make his Major League starting debut here. Derryberry's not good to go, so we'll have to roll with Riley Kelly, who pitched well out of the bullpen and pitched well in the minors. We lose 5-1. So Kelly wasn't horrible, not great either, and Kranzler was good out of the pen too, but no offense in that one. Just 4 hits by Hazelrig and Nieves. So now we still sit 1 back. Derryberry on the mound for this one. We win 2-0, a huge win. Not much offense. We only have 1 RBI on the 2 runs. Nieves drove it in. Nieves had a low-key pretty good year. Derryberry, awesome start. And then Sheehan and Blanco finished out the last 3 innings. So big series here in the Dodgers, at the Dodgers Stadium. We are tied with the Oaks, so we control our own destiny, as they say. We have no chance at the division, but we do have a playoff spot locked up. But we do want to have the best seeding possible and not have to face, I don't know. We want to have a good matchup, round 1. So I think we're have to face the Oaks either way, but we'd rather be at home, I think, for the 3-game set. So we have Morton, Almond, Colburn lined up for this series. So let's do it. Game 1. Our ace Morton. Lose 8-1. Morton is not good at all. And we only got 1 run, so it didn't really matter. But the Oaks won, so they're up a game. So Milt Almond will try to keep our season, or I guess our first seed playoff wild card hopes alive. We would lose 8-2. And the Oaks won, so this game is meaningless. So I guess we'll throw Riley Kelly in this one. Let's see what he's got. I mean, it's not the biggest deal in the world, I guess. And we win the last game, of course. Valderas finishes the year strong with 4 hits. Yeah, what a horrible season, man. That extension looks so bad. I should have stuck with my gut and not did that. It's obviously still early to judge it, but Riley Kelly pitched well, so that's something. I don't think he's eligible for the playoff roster anyway. So, man, where do we stand with this team? I'm going to have to set the playoff roster, so I'll come back after I do that. All right, so this is our hitting lineups. We can take a look at them. I guess we'll go with this. There's not a ton of options, but I think those are pretty solid for what we have. And then this will be our rotation, I guess. Isaac Morton, I think he should be good for game 1. See what we got. Yep, we have an off day, so he should be good. We're going to play Tampa Bay. So he's good for game 1. That means I think I'm going to throw Colburn game 2. I think I might go... Who do I trust more here? I think I got to give the ball to Almond, right? He had one rough start. He's been mostly good this year. Derryberry's been good. I'm going to throw Derryberry game 3. Let's go for it. We have a ton of arms, so, you know, these guys are all on pretty short leashes, minus Morton. Even Colburn's going to be... I'm setting him at 100. I don't want him going 118 like he always does. Derryberry, 80 pitches, maybe. Let's go like 75. We have a full bullpen with guys that I trust. I'm going to do the same with Almond here. So those guys aren't going to give us any length. So we got to hope this... it's only a 3-game set, right? Yeah, okay. So we really don't even need Almond here. So we can throw him in the bullpen. Where he'll probably play up a little bit. I'd imagine. He has some pretty good stuff. No, he doesn't play up at all. Okay, never mind. So, he'll be in the bullpen regardless. So, game 1 here. We'll have Morton on the mound. Tampa Bay, 90 and 72. Pretty good rotation, it looks like. Joe Richmond, a nice player. BJ Street, pretty good guy. And then Mike Lucius, looks like a nice young pitcher for them. They have MVP front runner pretty much every year, Danny Rouse. He's won once. No, that was a Gold Glove. He hasn't won an MVP. I could have sworn he won an MVP, but he's always an MVP front runner. Yeah, pretty good lineup, man. This guy looks like a heck of a player. Just gets hurt a lot, it looks. So Nova's someone to look out for. Pat Ebert's a good hitter. Man, they got good hitters up and down this lineup. 6th in runs scored, though, so didn't really perform up to it. Yeah, the bottom of the order is definitely beatable, but, man, they got a nice defensive catcher. Good for them. They locked him up. Good for them. I would love a guy like that. Okay, so this ragtag group, going to try to, I don't know. We won 94 games, so it's not like we're bad, but let's see if we can do it. We're at home. Game 1, Morton on the mound. Let's do it. We win 2-0. We needed every bit of those 2 runs. Morton, an awesome start. She and Townsend and Blanco close it out. So we win a huge game 1 behind Morton in the bullpen. So game 2, Johnny Colburn looking to close out the series here and not have to go to a do-or-die game 3 with Derryberry on the mound. See if he can do it. And he does. We win 2-0 back-to-back nights. Huge win. Great start by Colburn. Townsend and Blanco close it out again. So we advance to the NLDS, where we'll face the Atlanta Braves, 98 and 64, division rivals. Sherwood McCanney, looks like he's their stud. Pretty good player. They're 3rd in runs scored, 3rd in runs against, so really good all-around team. John Paul Polito, a guy I tried to trade for, famously, but screwed it up, kind of. Not really. Kamada, this guy's been, he wins like Silver Slugger every year. Does he not win Silver Slugger every year? Oh, yeah, okay, these are Silver Sluggers, yeah. Yeah, he's pretty much won it every year he's been in the league. He's a total stud behind the plate, offensively. Defensively, So yeah, not the most scary offense. I think the Rays were definitely scarier, but I guess they were third in runs scored, and then their rotation is headlined by this dude, Luis Salido, trade with Baltimore. How'd that happen? They got him this deadline for. Okay, it's a fine pitcher, I guess. Okay, a low minors guy, another low minors guy. That's a good prospect, I guess. Number 12 prospect in baseball. I mean, man, that's a heck of a trade for them. They got a total stud. But yeah, he headlines their rotation. Tim Hill, really nice number 2. Juan Ramon, control issues, but a good number 3. And then Connor Schuss is their number 4. So their bullpen is vulnerable. 12th in bullpen ERA. First in starters ERA, though. Not surprising. So the humble Stampede are going to try to upset another squad here. We'll have to throw a 4-man rotation for this series. So, and Morton is not good for game 1. So we'll have to go with Derryberry in game 1. Don't think he'll be good for game 2 either. So it'll have to be Almond in game 2. And then we go to Morton in game 3. So let's do it. Sam Derryberry on the mound, making his playoff debut against the fearsome Atlanta Braves in Atlanta. We win 2-1. Total of 6 runs scored in 3 games. Molinex drove in 1. Lesko drove in another. Derryberry, a really nice start. And then the bullpen lights out once again. And then this is the game that I'm scared about. Milt Almond, he's so hit or miss in the playoffs. I'm pretty sure he's been mostly missed, but game 2 in Atlanta. We lose 8-1. And Almond wasn't bad. Dan Miller was not good, though. He was the last guy added to the roster. There was no one else usable, really. That's the guy you went to? I guess we were losing, but jeez. Okay, so game 3, we get to go back to our ace in Isaac Morton. So he's good to go. Back in Nashville for 2. Let's see if we can't take one here. And we do not. 6-3 loss. Morton, not a great start. The offense, not much going. Jeremy Hall had 3 hits, but besides that, nothing really. So, elimination game here. We have Johnny Colburn, who had a good start against the Rays. Shut them out through 7 1/3, I believe. Starting this one in front of our home crowd, looking to keep our season alive. And we do not. 10-8 victory, or 10-8 defeat. Oh my God. I already know Merton Blanco blew it, right? Yep. Oh my God. I think that's back-to-back years he's done that. Oh my God. Why does he suck in elimination games? Oh my God. So, Blanco blows it when it matters the most, and Townsend blew it in the 12th inning. It was a 2-run shot by John Stone. I think his name's John. John Stone. Nieves had 4 hits. Northard had 3. He had a really good series. So did Nieves, but yeah, it's a tough way to go out, man. That feels like it happens every year. The bullpen collapsing. Colburn wasn't great either. Like, can't really give him too much credit, but yeah, Blanco, man, he just sucks every year when the playoffs come around. Maybe he has to get pulled out of the closer's role, but I don't know. I guess I'm a little too loyal to him. I mean, he's been around forever. He's one of the OGs on this team. But yeah, that'll wrap up this episode. Pretty long one, full season. We'll come back at some point, probably post in about a week. We'll do the 2037. Maybe we'll probably go through the off season, then the full season. It'll just be a really long episode, that's all. But thank you very much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.